Hi, I'm Tony Nichols, and welcome to Chamber Chat. Hi, and welcome to this edition of Chamber Chat, a program put together by the Salisbury Area Chamber of Commerce to keep you informed on what's going on in your community and in your chamber. Our first guest on this edition is Chris Bitters, General Manager with the Delmarva Shorebirds. Chris, welcome to Chamber Chat.
Tony, thanks for having me.
I think this is your first time in the studio.
I believe it is with you guys. Yep,
Yeah,
I believe it
very
is.
cool.
Absolutely.
Well, I know, I've been on the shore 12 years, and I remember, I can't remember exactly when, but I remember when you got here. How long have you been on the shore and with the Shorebirds?
Yeah, I've just completed my 10th season with the Shorebirds.
Wow.
So obviously 2017 is exciting. I'll be entering my 11th year. And
Time flies.
Absolutely, when you're having fun, for sure.
Well, one thing I did notice, as soon as you got to town, as soon as, it was a big announcement, it was in the paper, new general manager for the Shorebirds, as soon as you showed up on the scene, I began to see you in the community. Is that by design?
It's kind of by design, but it's also by who I am and
Sure.
who our ownership group is and what we believe our role is in the community. So it's by design in those ways, but also, I live here. My kids go to school here, and so I want to be actively engaged, not only because of the Shorebirds, but because of my lifestyle.
Sure. Okay, so I happen to have some inside baseball about what's going on at the stadium. But generally speaking, I think a lot of people think that everybody you turn off the lights when baseball season's over, and everybody goes home, and in the spring you come back and dust everything off, and you make sure all the lights work, and you get things kick-started, and you're off to the races again. But I think there might be misinterpreting what really goes on after the season.
Yeah,
Tell us a little bit of what's happening out there.
Yeah, the postseason, or after the season, the off season, I guess you call it, is really a busy time. Not only do we try to remain engaged in the community with different events that we host in October, in November, December, it's really our planning phase as well. I alluded to planning a wedding or a birthday party.
Right.
You don't just show up and the wedding happens.
Sure.
There's been months and months of planning that goes into all the things that go on for that event. It's very similar to that. And we try to really remain active in the community, whether that's us hosting our own events that we have coming up, or whether it's us supporting other events, whether it's our, Sherman getting out in the community, bell ringing, hosting events like the PRMC Flu Clinic at the stadium. So we really try to stay actively engaged all winter and spring, into the spring, and then also obviously planning everything for the next season.
Mm-hmm. I just had the privilege of talking to Brandon Harms, one of your guys in ticket sales, and he was showing me some pictures of a stadium without seats.
Yeah.
What's that all about? Because that was a weird look.
Yeah, it was a weird look, and I think some of our fans kind of thought actually when we put it on social media that we weren't going to have any seats, which is not
standing room only.
Yeah, standing room only is not accurate. No, we're going through a multi-year renovation with regards to, we're 21 years old now as of last year. So now we're in the process of updating the stadium along with our partners at Wycomico County to make it viable for another 20 years. So part of that is upgrading the seats. So the lower level will have new seats, similar to what was there, but just bringing us 21st century newer. They're not worn out as they were. The second level, which is bleacher style seating, that will all become a reserved seating section, which will be great for our groups and others, that you'll actually have a seat when you sit up there rather than just an opportunity to enter the ballpark. We're working on some other, I guess you would call it maintenance projects, or not maintenance, but more behind the scenes, fire suppression system and caulk and coatings and things of that nature. So really over the next couple of years, you'll continue to see projects that will allow us to modernize the stadium, make sure it's structurally in a good place for the next 20 years, and to allow us to be a viable business for another 20 years.
Take us into a behind-the-scenes look this off-season. What's happening this season, off-season at the Shorebirds Stadium?
The main project you'll see is going to be the seating bowl renovation, and that'll also include some coatings and caulkings. So the first level of seats, the first 2 rows, which are called field box, will have pads on them. So have a 3-inch padded upholstered seat. The third level, the luxury level, the suites and executive club, will also have a 3-inch padded upholstered seat. And again, the second level will have no more bleachers. There'll be coatings that will go over the second level seating bowl, because that's actually a roof as well. Most people probably don't realize it when you're sitting there. It's actually under occupied space, locker rooms, batting cages, so trying to keep water from penetrating down there. We're working on the dry fire suppression system, so not very exciting, but those are things that need to be replaced. And then the final piece is, our video board's 20 years old, and we're working towards potentially replacing that as well this off-season.
You're doing something for the troops, I think, this off-season as well.
With the events we host, as I said earlier, we try to remain very community-driven, and we've hosted an event for years called Cookies with Claws. And I've really challenged the staff this year is how can we do things new or different, and not lose anything that we've ever done that's been successful. So this year they really wanted to put a unique spin on that event and called it Cards for Troops. And so families can still come out on December 10th from 9 to noon, come out and see Santa Claus, Mrs. Claus, get some cookies and all those things that we've done before. But we used to have a place where the kids could, fill out a coloring page or whatever. Well, rather than filling out a coloring page, we're asking them to write a Christmas card from their family to some of our troops that are serving overseas or for the holidays. In addition, we've always encouraged people to bring an unwrapped toy for a donation, and this year those toys are going to benefit Brooks Toy Closet right here at PRMC. So we've tried to put a similar event but put a different spin on it and find some new ways to make it fresh.
I can't think of a better way to show support for our troops than to host an event like that. So it's going to be cards this year. Or is it going to be for local troops, or are we going to get them overseas? How are you going to get the cards to the troops?
Yeah, we've actually talked with Jeff, with the folks at Operation We Care, because obviously we weren't real wise on how to make all that happen. So he's the man on that. So my crew has talked to him, and he's offered to help us make that happen. So once we have the cards and figure out how many we have, we're going to work with his crew to get them overseas and make sure they hit there before the holidays.
So how much does an event like that cost?
For the public, it's free.
Okay.
There's absolutely no cost for anybody to attend. We just ask that you bring maybe an unwrapped toy for Brooks Toy Closet as kind of your admission, or if you want to make a donation, we'll take your donation and run out and buy some more toys for them or whatever. For us, in terms of putting on the event, there's some hard costs to it, but ultimately it's an event that we love to host regardless of the cost of it, just so that we can give people that maybe can't afford to see Santa Claus in a more formal capacity to get some holiday photos, support our troops with being able to send over some Christmas cards to them, as well as support a local toy closet here with Brooks Toy Closet to really help the local community in that side as well. So,
anything else going on this off-season?
Yeah, we have a lot of other events. We'll have our hot stove banquet coming up in January. We're putting the final touches on that. We'll be kicking off our school reading program, which we've held for years, here soon, after the New Year as well, which we ask school-age students to read 4 books outside the classroom. They get rewarded with tickets to come to a game. We work with 105 schools on that program, so everywhere from Dover to the Eastern Shore of Virginia, from the Bay to the beach. So it's a big program that we'll be kicking off here shortly too.
Well, Chris, we want to thank you for coming in, Chamber Chat. I can't believe it's taken us this long to get you in here.
Well, I'm glad to be here. Glad you had us, and we really appreciate the opportunity.
Chris Bitters, Delmarva Shorebirds, thanks for coming in.
Thank you.
We'd like to give you an opportunity now to take a look at the upcoming events with the Salisbury Area Chamber of Commerce. Welcome back to Chamber Chat right here on PAC 14. Joining us now is Maria Weiler, owner of Quality Staffing. Welcome to the program.
Well, thank you. Glad to be here.
So, you just had a job fair, or you just sponsored a job fair for the Chamber of Commerce.
We did.
What was the turnout like at that job fair? We hear so much about the economy and people looking jobs. and it's flat, or it's on the uptick, or this particular sector is doing well. How was the turnout for that job fair?
Well, we had a lot of people. As you know, we've got a plant closing, so there were a lot of those folks there. But also, I saw a lot of people that have jobs that are looking for something different. So that was interesting.
The overall job market, and I know that because I've been to some job fairs in my life, and
Just a few.
just a few, and you get a very good cross section of every industry, every type of individual, every skill set, education level. But those people have to have a job, or they're looking a job. What's the overall job market looking like right here at home on the Eastern Shore?
Right now, I feel like there's a lot of jobs available. I think, as a matter of fact, I think that it's challenging to find the right people.
Right.
That's why you and I have a job.
Oh yeah, no doubt. Are there any particular industries that you can think of that are growing faster or in need of more people than others?
Manufacturing seems to be on the uprise, I think.
Wow, go figure there.
Yeah.
That's
As a matter of
good.
fact, we have a lot of work right now for anyone who's in the manufacturing industry. Yeah.
Well, you heard that right here on Chamber Chat. Manufacturing.
Well, that might have something to do with the fact that that's a lot of what we do.
Right.
Okay, keep that in mind.
Right. All right. I hear a lot of employers that I work with, and I'm curious to see if you are hearing similar things, that the type of employee or the skill set, I guess you would say, the skill set that they're looking for is becoming more and more difficult to find, whatever that skill set is. Are you seeing that?
Yeah, in some industries, definitely. You and I talked about it before. HVAC, plumbing, the trades. Hard to find those folks. But at the same time, I think that it's a matter of finding someone who is willing to work, show up on time.
Right.
That's
all the soft skills
all the soft
that
skills,
need to come, and to the HVACs and the plumbers and the electricians. The soft skills, you need to have those to interview well and to get a job. But I also feel that you can be a very intelligent individual, but not have the aptitude for a certain industry, HVAC or plumbing or being an electrician. You can have fantastic work ethic, show up every day, but you also need that. If you're not good at one and you feel like that's your calling to be in a trade, try another, because there truly is an aptitude tied into that. Are you seeing that as well?
Well, okay. When you talk about those kinds of folks, the learning curve is not small.
Right.
Okay. You
That's right.
really have to go to school. You have
That's
to
right.
learn, and unfortunately, there's a thought about those jobs being not good jobs, and that's not true.
Oh no.
No, they pay well. It requires somebody who isn't just, the HVAC, for example, you have to have real strong skills. You have to know how to use the computer. It's not
right.
like the old days.
I tell people now that if I had to do it all over again, I just may be a plumber, because they are so hard to find, and the very good ones have their name on the side of the truck.
Absolutely.
Because it's not a glamour job. Everybody has one thought of what a plumber is, and there may be a tinge of that, but it's the furthest thing from the truth.
Well, in the old days, though, a plumber was somebody that just used to use a
Right.
wrench. Not anymore.
That's right.
You have to have computer skills. You have to be. It's just not an easy
Well,
job.
the certifications of the trainings,
Yep.
the continuing educations that have to go on, certainly if you're a master plumber, to get to that level. It's not just showing up and being a plumber or an electrician or HVAC. There truly is a lot of.
But a lot of the trades are that way now.
Yeah, that's right.
They're
Right.
very high-level skills now. Yeah, and unfortunately, I think that a lot of people, especially parents, they think, "Oh, well, I don't want my kid to be a plumber." I think that's not a good thing to think anymore.
No, not at all. I would agree 100%. All right, so let's go back to the soft skills, because you can have all the training in the world, you can have the aptitude, and not get past the interview. What are some of the things that you see or have seen that people can do to better prepare themselves for an interview, career, the whatever the step may be to get them to that job?
Okay, well, let's start with the interview.
Mm-hmm.
Preparing for an interview is really, really important. Knowing what the company's about.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
Do your homework.
nowadays, do your homework. Google the company, right?
Right.
Find out
It's
what it
already
is
there.
they do.
Right.
Don't bring your phone into the interview and let it ring while you're.
Oh my goodness.
Doesn't that happens all the time?
Mine rang during the taping of Chamber Chat one time. I know that's hard to believe.
Just, prepare, know what you're walking into, know about the job, and ask the right questions. And an interview is kind of like it's a two-way street, okay? Not only are you going in there for them to see who you are, but you also want to know what the company's about and see if that's the job you really want.
Right. All right, let's back up before the interview. We've researched the company, and prior to researching the company, we need to send them a resume. Mm-hmm. How many resumes have you seen in, let me pick a good one, in paragraph format?
Yes, I've seen the 7-page resumes as well.
Oh yeah, me too. And I know what I do with 7-page resumes.
They don't do well.
So are there people out there that can help them? Do you guys help them?
No, well, we do kind of in an informal way.
Right, sure.
If somebody comes in
It's not
and their
structured,
resume.
right. Mm-hmm.
I've seen people who are extremely smart, extremely professional, have great careers, and their resumes look like
They're not.
they're not. Mm-hmm. So it's very important because that's the first thing that people see. And interesting enough, I think people don't realize that the Human Resources Department, who actually looks at those resumes, is looking for keywords. So you need to have a resume that's almost something that you create every time.
Tailored to it?
Yeah, tailored to whatever job that you're looking for, and make sure that the keywords are there. No typos. They call me the resume Nazi in my office because I can't. You look at a resume,
There are certain
it's like,
things that
typo.
you just don't do.
Right, yeah.
No,
But that's like kind of like your calling card, if you
Sure
will.
it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree 100%.
So take the time to, and don't have someone else look at it. Always have someone else look at it.
I tell people have someone that's a friend that you trust that can say anything to you at all.
Like, this is really terrible.
Right, exactly, right. Dude,
Yes.
you need to take this and start over.
Start over.
How about appearance in the interview?
Absolutely. You want to portray yourself in a professional way, no matter what job
Right.
you're going for.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's, in about the first couple minutes, people
Oh, yeah.
size you up.
Everybody, yeah. And you were nice. I'll say people judge you. Yeah, you clean it up, and I don't think you can ever overdress,
Absolutely
regardless
not.
what it is. Now it's okay to dress for your position, in my opinion, but you can never overdress. I've had people coming in for laboring or trade type positions dressed in a suit. Absolutely okay by me. I don't think you can overdress.
No.
Yeah, it says something about the seriousness that you bring to the interview.
Yep. First impressions.
All right, number one piece of advice
For someone who's looking for a job.
for someone who's looking for a job.
Network. A lot of times the jobs that are out there are not, they're not advertised. It's
Right.
who you know. Make sure you talk to the people that are near you, your friends, your family, your church, your staffing agencies, college advisors, professors.
Right.
They know where the jobs are. Yeah.
Maria, I know how much you love doing stuff like this, so I really do appreciate you coming on Chamber Chat and sharing some tips with us. And I think we'll be seeing you at the upcoming economic forecast as well with the Chamber.
Yep.
Thanks for being on Chamber Chat.
Thank you.
We'd like to give you another opportunity now to take a look at the upcoming events with the Salisbury Area Chamber of Commerce. Well, welcome back to Chamber Chat right here on PAC 14. Joining us now is John McClellan, Senior Advisor at SVN-Miller Commercial Real Estate.
Good morning. How are you?
Welcome to the program.
Thank you.
Well, John, I guess the first question that commercial real estate agents always get asked is, how is the housing market?
Exactly. So when I get asked that question, I go ask somebody.
Okay.
So I ask a couple of various high-volume residential agents, and they told me what I kind of suspected, what I've been hearing over the last year, and it's really is that the housing market is very active. Mm-hmm. It's more active in say, the lower price ranges. Inventory is tight. Inventory is down about 24% over last year this time. But ironically, the median price, I looked it up over this November, last November in Wycomico County, it's almost exactly the same, $155,000.
So the reduction in the supply has not driven the price up any.
Exactly, exactly. A little bit of new construction, but still not a significant amount to kind of begin to take care of some of these pent-up prices.
I know there really are two different worlds when you talk about housing market and commercial real estate. Is there a correlation between the two at all?
No, I think there is. I mean, you have to have an active housing market. Active housing market comes from people having confidence in their jobs, and they have confidence in their jobs if their employers are confident enough to continue to develop and expand their commercial real estate, their manufacturing plant, their retail store, whatever particular employment that is.
I know in 2007, 8, 9, maybe the commercial real estate industry took a pretty good wallop. Has it recovered?
Overall, I would say yes, it has recovered. Wycomico County, and you've heard this, nationally, that some of the rural areas have recovered more slowly. And it's just a fact that just things sometimes take a little longer to slow down and a little longer to pick back up. But I would say overall, through the whole thing, Wycomico County has really held on fairly well. We've absolutely seen price softening. We saw demand drop. We saw confidence drop. But as of late, our industrial base has remained strong. We really don't have any large-scale industrial buildings, sitting around on the market that are of good quality.
Right.
One thing that's happening right now is the recently announced Labanal closing. Of course, they've just about finished their final production there. That property is now under contract to a developer who is going to actually take that building and kind of modernize it, cut it up, and make it into a place that will employ several hundreds of people in a variety of different industries. So we're still seeing it grow.
Do you experience in the commercial real estate market? I know that the shore historically has been a bit shielded from the peaks of the uber high economies, and shielded to a degree to the uber low economies. Do you see that the same in the commercial real estate market?
Absolutely. I've often said, when we're talking to, say, people either on the upside or on the downside from various more metropolitan markets, our highs are not as high and our lows are not as low. We just, we kind of have a habit of I don't want to say bumping along in the middle, but just kind of staying around a midpoint where we go up a little bit, down a little bit, up a little bit, down a little bit. And I think that's better, and I think that's evidence of a pretty diversified economy we have in the shore. Not only the agribusiness, but we've got a lot of health sciences, a lot of health care, universities. We've got a pretty diverse electronics, assembly, manufacturing, marine activity. Because of those, all those various segments are not rising and falling in concert. They're each kind of in their own little microcosm.
Right. So, give us a short term. What do you see in the next couple of months coming, or maybe leading us into 2017?
Going into 2017, I think the market will continue to remain strong. Interest rates are attractive. Supply is somewhat limited. Oftentimes people will tell us that, I think I can find whatever I want, whenever I want it, because we actually have a lot of signs in the marketplace. Right. Not just us, but other brokerage firms as well. And what that leads to is that actually leads to a sense of complacency. And when somebody goes out looking for something, if they need a warehouse with a loading dock, or they need a certain ceiling height, or they need some fenced storage for outside things, certain what I call special attributes, it's hard to find.
Right.
We just had a discussion this morning that 3,000 square feet and larger of Class A medical space is hard to find. It seems like it ought to be everywhere, but it is difficult. So I would encourage people that are thinking about making a commercial real estate decision to not delay thinking that there's a lot out there.
Speaking of medical, every time you turn around, there's someone that's having a seminar, or there's someone in the medical community talking about the medical industry and how the medical industry is decentralizing away from the hospital. Are you seeing, with the advent of the ambulatory surgical centers and a lot of those services that people thought they went to the hospital for, now they don't go? Is that you spoke to not having the Class A healthcare facilities? Is that something that the hospital or you guys are seeing as a problem for the hospital moving forward in this ambulatory surgical center world?
Well, I think one thing that healthcare regulations, Obamacare, some of these changes have really tried to lower the cost of healthcare. That's been their attempt. You may have read recently in the Daily Times where something that we might not have thought would happen was there's a joint venture just announced between Peninsula Regional Health Ventures and Your Doc's Inn, well-known local chain, where they're going to open a joint urgent care facility, a joint venture urgent care facility directly across from the university in the old Horner Honda building. So I think that's evidence that people can get quality medical care off campus, say away from the hospital, and save the hospital for more of your true emergency type things and inpatient care, obviously. But I think over the years we've also seen a transition from single provider, or a doctor and a partner providing care, to where most times we go to the doctor now, it's a pretty big operation, whether it's at a TLC or at a pediatrics office or at even your
I would think
GP.
They have to.
They have to. It's an economies of scale. They can't compete, so to speak, and can't run a profitable operation by themselves or with one other. And that has an effect on commercial real estate. If you're looking for, I said a while ago, 3,000 square feet, if you want me to find you 1,000 or 1,500 square feet of medical space, Class B medical space, I can probably do that pretty easily. In fact, a lot of those older spaces are now no longer medical. They're being transitioned into other office uses. So that's having an effect.
Okay, so here's the question that everybody wants to know. What's coming to Salisbury? What's coming to Salisbury that we might not know that we need to know? Is Cracker Barrel coming?
Cracker Barrel's still looking.
You've never been asked that question before,
I have never been asked if Cracker Barrel's coming.
Not today.
I've never been asked if Nordstrom is coming. I will tell you no to Nordstrom. I will tell you that I know Cracker Barrel is looking, but to my knowledge, they have not secured a spot at this time.
Sure.
What is coming to Salisbury is there's 2 European grocery stores. 2 of Europe's largest grocery stores are actively reviewing site plans and going through the approval process in this market. So you'll see those come into town. One thing that we've also seen is there's obviously a lot of development downtown, but the city just awarded the developer to Lot 10, which is a highly visible parcel on the corner of 13 and 50. Unfortunately, I know a lot of things that are actively coming to town, and I can't say what they are. But there's a lot of people that are actively looking at the Salisbury market. One thing that's coming to Lower Shore that a couple years ago we would have never thought was coming, but the licenses for medical cannabis have been awarded.
Okay.
And you're going to see one processor in Wicomico County, and you're going to see 1 grower in Worcester County and 2 growers in Dorchester County. And I know that's somewhat of a controversial subject, but I will say that it's going to be a good industrial development and a jobs creating, because most of the growing facilities will employ north of 60 people, many high-tech laboratory jobs, research jobs, and those are certainly going to be a boon for our local economy.
Very good. Well, any parting words for those people looking for commercial real estate in the marketplace right now?
Well, one development I did forget to mention, one tenant that's near and dear to a guy like yourself from Central North Carolina. It's almost a holy institution known as Krispy Kreme has purchased a property on North Salisbury Boulevard.
I've been trying to bring culture to this place for 12 years.
So Tony will have the hot light on very soon on North Salisbury. But to anybody looking for real estate, like I said earlier, interest rates remain low. I don't want to sound too much like a sales pitch, but what I do want to say is inventory is not what it appears to be just from the signs. Retain a professional and go looking for what you really need for your business or your investments, and try to better understand what's really out there and what just appears to be there.
Very good. Yeah, you also will be speaking at the upcoming economic forecast for the Chamber. Is that correct?
The Chamber's economic forecast on December 15th at UMES. I have been invited to be one of the panelists, and that's an exciting opportunity. So encourage folks to show up for that. That's always a good time to review the year, see what's happening in every industry, and look at 2017.
Very good. John, thanks for showing up.
Thank you.
Sperry Van Ness Miller Commercial Real Estate. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
We'd also like to thank you for joining us on this edition of Chamber Chat. And as always, if you've missed any portion of this program or you'd like to view previous editions, you can visit PAC 14's website and utilize their on-demand feature, or visit the Chamber's website. That's all the time we have for this edition of Chamber Chat. My name's Tony Nichols, your host, encouraging you to make a difference.